Thank you.
Yep, have a good one.
You too. My 2 cents.
Here's, wait. So you gave her 410. It was 408. That's a lyric to an Eminem song. Here's my 10 cents. My 2 cents is free. Who sent? You sent from me.
Oh my God. Welcome to the Sunday Drive.
No. If you're digging the content of the Sunday Drive, you want to get all the updates, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now.
Like, subscribe.
What was that?
Just like and subscribe. I hate you.
Philosophically, I have a problem with post-June 1st cuts, right? So the problem that I have with the post-June 1st cut is that's really there to help save this year but sacrifice next year, especially when you talk about these huge contracts. So if you see a guy, oh, well, save us, $4 mil this year, it's going to cost us, 10 mil next year because we post-June 1st cut him. That doesn't help, right? The money that you're saving, because you're allowed to roll over cap year to year, right? So whatever cap space you don't use, you're allowed to roll over. And we saw teams like Seattle do that forever. When Seattle built that Super Bowl team, they were rolling $20 million over a year. So they had a war chest of cap space. And they drafted, and then they were able to re-sign their drafted players because they had this insane amount of rollover money and weren't spending it on free agents. So, that's a theory. I personally like that theory. You draft,
It's smart
you sign,
from a financial standpoint.
right, and you find guys on the free agent market that fit your system, right? And that's what the Bills have done. They didn't blow any doors off with free agency this year. They went out and signed. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer look like elite signings now, but they weren't at the time.
No.
They weren't at the top of the class.
I think I remember multiple people saying, why are we getting a safety from Cleveland? What are we doing?
Yeah. And they're great signings now. Perfect system, guys.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I expect the Bills to spend in that mid-tier again,
It's so slippery. It's so slippery.
Thank you for not giving me the mom seat belt. The Lee press on nails right in the lung.
Did you just Kali Ma Shakti Day get me with the Indiana Jones? I think my heart just... And a lot of people actually were a little worried about Hyde because the year before, I think Devon House went to Jacksonville and stunk up the place, and then he went back to the Packers. So like, oh wait, he only works in that system.
Yeah,
it was the same system Hyde came from. But
well, and Hyde was getting blown up because they were asking him to play slot corner at the beginning of the season. The season before he came to Buffalo, he didn't look great. If you looked at that stuff, if you looked at his film early in the season, it was a rough time.
We're not going to ask him to do it. We're going to ask him to come down in the alley.
Yep.
And kill somebody.
But the Bills just spend on these mid-tier free agents. That's what they're going to do again. So, do I want us to spend a lot of money on a quarter? I want the Bills to win. Period. Whatever move that is that gets them to win more football games, that's the move they should do.
Yeah.
But philosophically, would I prefer not to June 1st cut somebody? Yes. Philosophically, would I just prefer to take whatever you have to take on the chin for whatever contracts you got to get rid of? Yeah, do that. And then roll over whatever you got after
Post-June Fern was designated for teams that don't have the cap this year.
Yeah.
You don't just do that for everybody. Plenty of cap.
Plenty of cap.
Plentyofcap.com. Let's go to his website.
But you're right. Rollover cap is designed for teams that didn't have the space. They got to get rid of a contract.
The Saints.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
You love some Mickey Loomis.
God, I hate him so much. Yeah, he drafted great this year, so I can't hammer on him too much. He nailed this last draft class.
He did.
But man, he just does not know what a contract extension looks like. I get wanting the best on the market. I get that. I get wanting the best on, but just because it's the finest steak that's in the supermarket doesn't mean it's a good steak.
No.
You know, it's not what I want. Is Cousins to me the answer? No, he's not. Is Foles to me the answer? Absolutely not. But what it does do is if I can acquire Nick Foles for a 3rd round pick this year and a 4th round pick next year, let's just throw it out there as that's an option.
Didn't you say
right?
that was pretty steep?
Yeah.
A 5th. You were talking about a 5th being steep for him.
Yeah. But if he wins a Super Bowl, price escalates without a doubt, right? So let's say you can get Foles, just for sake of argument. I can get Foles for some picks, okay? I could still draft my quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saving money just as long as I don't acquire a pick more than the 15th. The 15th pick is where it drops off. If I draft above the 15th pick and I acquire Nick Foles, then I'm spending more money to acquire 2 quarterbacks than I would have on 1. But even if the Bills trade all the way up to the number 1 pick, it's only going to cost them, between Nick Foles and the number 1 pick, $3 million more than Tyrod Taylor. So
you get your quarterback and you get a backup.
Yeah.
That may or may not won the Super Bowl.
Right. That's what I mean. So financially, a move like Foles makes a lot of sense to the Bills because you could shed yourself of Taylor, right? Right away. As soon as the roster becomes available, if you can swing a deal for a player like Foles, you do it because it's going to save you money. It's going to give you a veteran to start, somebody who can come prepared. Not that Taylor couldn't, but I think at this point, you're willing to spend less money on somebody who's going to give you adequate production, right? You want to have just that piece of consistency. So, okay, you're going to bring in another quarterback who's already started, understand what that's like, and then you're still going to go get your guy in the draft. You know, and if you could do it for less money than what you're going to pay Tyrod Taylor for a team that is not in phenomenal cap shape, they're not in great shape.
No.
They're about half in the league, right? About half the teams in the league have more money than they do. So you're okay. So why wouldn't you do it? Right? You already know what Taylor's about, and at the cost that just doesn't make a ton of sense.
It's the financials that get everyone else, because you got to think the casual fan wants their player.
Sure.
Cousins is the best free agent. We need a quarterback. Let's get Cousins.
Makes sense. Yeah,
but
makes sense.
No, unfortunately, because of the numbers, could you afford Cousins? Yes, but you're playing with fire. We said it earlier. You're not going to be able to fill out a roster of serviceable players.
Yeah.
Like a Leonard Johnson, for example.
Yeah.
Came over from Carolina with him on a 1-year deal. Knows the defense, can facilitate that. Well, but he did cost a few bucks.
He was a little more than league minimum, but that's the interesting thing about this Bills roster. Salary cap's made up the top 51 contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're estimating the salary cap's going to be about $178 million this year. So the Bills' space is predicated on a $178 million cap, right? There are about almost 20 players on this roster right now who are making league minimum. Now, guys who make league minimum normally take up like the last 5 or 6 spots of your roster.
Yes.
Right? From a salary cap standpoint.
And it's $750, correct? Minimum?
Well, it depends on
roughly.
It depends on their tenure in the league. So if they're rookies,
Yes.
they get paid less. If they're veterans, they get paid more. So the amount of money that they make is a little bit different. And then, of course, if you sign veterans, you actually get a bonus, right? Where even like you may sign a guy for $850,000 at the veteran league minimum, but he only counts for like $550,000 against your cap. It's kind of cool how some of that veteran stuff works. It's going to play great for the Bills this offseason.
You know
right?
nothing about the cap.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the cap. And I'm just so new to this. So many numbers. Again, guys making near league minimum don't normally take up almost half of your projected salary cap, and that's where the Bills are right now. They're very top heavy, right? So can you shed some of those contracts? Sure, but you still need to replace them. Is it going to cost you money to do? Absolutely, of course it is. Taylor's the only obvious one that is in all likelihood not going to be on the roster next year. Could they keep him? Absolutely, of course they could. They absolutely could keep him. Got plenty of space to keep him, right? If they lose him, now you also have to look at replacing him, and that's where you start spending some money, right? And it is smarter to do it via trade because I'll be honest with you, A.J. McCarron in Cincy is going to lose his grievance with the league. He filed a grievance because remember the year he started in the playoffs for Dalton?
We are not a Cincinnati talk show.
No. But
You've mentioned McCarron on 13 of 13 episodes so
yeah.
far.
Well, because it's an interesting story. So, here's the deal.
Let go of the safety blanket, will you? Jesus.
McCarron's going to lose his grievance with the league.
Yes. So
right?
he's going to be a Bengal again.
He's
going to
be a
have
Bengal.
to get rid of him.
They got to get rid of him. They got to get rid of him. They tried to trade him last year, and the trade didn't get submitted to the league in time. So, I mean, he's got an open grievance with the league because he wants that season where he started a playoff game to accrue a season. All likelihood, they're not going to grant him that accruance of a season, so technically he's still under contract. With that being said, he's not going to be a free agent, so you're going to be able to go get him, and he's going to cost you nothing. I mean, nothing. He's going to cost like he's going to cost under $2 million, right?
Oh.
So you go get him. Why? Because at that point, why not, right? He wasn't horrible in the playoffs, hasn't played in 2 years, but you're getting about what you're going to get taking a chance on any veteran. And it's not going to cost you anything. He's going to be well below. You're going to have to trade for him, and it's going to cost you way below market value for a guy that's a insert name of veteran, right? If you get rid of Taylor. But again, you don't even have to get rid of Taylor. There's no promise or guarantee that he's going to be gone. You could keep him and then still draft somebody. It's on the last year of his deal, so what's the difference, right? You're going to trade for Foles or McCarron on the last year of the deal, the last year of their deal. You have Tyrod Taylor on the last year of his deal. You're going to bring in a veteran quarterback, sign him to probably a 2-year deal. So, I mean, what's the difference, right? So, if you're the Bills, are you kissing Taylor goodbye? Or are you just going to say, you know what? It's going to cost us too much to replace him. We're good with it. Let's just keep him.
I look at it as Taylor is an insurance policy. You know, you don't really want to pay for it, but you kind of do in case things break down.
Yeah.
So, I have that. I pay for that every day. I pay for that every month for my insurance policy. That's great. So I can go out and get another one if I wanted to. Okay. You want to get McCarron, you want to draft a guy, you want to get Foles, you want to trade for Foles, you want to do any of these options, you still have that sitting back. Okay, we still have this quarterback on the roster that's been here for 3 years. So, like I said before, from a pure football standpoint, I don't think he's a franchise guy. He's going to be a backup. He's 22-20. Now the supporters will say he got us to the playoffs. I think Andy Dalton was a little bit more of a reason for the Bills getting to the playoffs than Tyrod was. But it's just one of those. I don't think he's a Bill. And him publicly coming out and saying, I won't take a pay cut, he needs to realize that there's 31 other teams that actually read that stuff. Okay, well, I'm not going to take a pay cut. Well, you're willing to work 1 year, but you're not willing to work another year because you underperformed. Like you said, his stock was higher last year than it was this year.
Yeah.
So why now when he plays better, he's willing to take a cut. When he doesn't play better, he's not willing to take a cut. It doesn't make any sense to me.
If he hits the open market, he's not an $18 million quarterback. He's not going to make 18 a year.
No.
He hits the open market, and he knows that. And could the team still trade him? Sure, Bills could trade him. Could they, trade him after the roster bonus to make him more affordable to another team? Yeah, because if you trade him before that roster bonus hits, that team's going to have to pay $6 million for Tyrod Taylor to just walk in the door for them. So the Bills could trade him after the roster bonus. There's no guarantee he's going to be gone.
If you're the Bills, are you hoping Cousins doesn't sign in Denver? Because that seems like a landing spot for Taylor.
Denver makes sense, but Denver also drafted Paxton Lynch, who's been hurt. So, I mean, do I think John Elway is saying, I need me some Tyrod Taylor? No.
He needs Tyler Bray.
Tyler Bray.
It's like, I love
around.
bringing up, it's like if you're talking to somebody and you're bringing up old girlfriends. I bring up old quarterbacks that you fell in love with the draft.
I love Tyler Bray.
And you get a little grin on your face. You're like, we had some good times. Breaking that film down was nice.
He moved in the pocket like a lineman, but good God, can he throw a football.
See ya, Dink!